It's time for Tastemaker Talk, the podcast for food creators who want to level up their business and make an impact in the creator economy. I'm Abby Rodriguez.
And I'm Chandace Probst. We're your hosts and fellow food content creators here to dive deep into the trends, tools, and topics shaping the industry around us. There's so much to uncover, so let's talk about it. Tastemaker Talk. Welcome back to Tastemaker Talk. We are so excited for today's guest. She's one of my friends, in addition to being an incredibly talented person. I am so excited to tell you more about her. So, Alyssa Rivers is the founder of the Recipe Critic, a widely loved food blog known for easy, dependable recipes for real life. She started by sharing meals she made for her family and quickly became a go-to source for home cooks. Alyssa is a certified chef through the American Culinary Federation and is the author of the Tried and True Cookbook. As a mom of four, she focuses on recipes that are simple, reliable, and worth making again and again. Welcome, Alyssa.
Yes, Chandace, I love you. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so glad you're here. And I noticed the new addition to the bio, and that was the question that I was like, I have questions. And the first one is, oh my gosh, you graduated culinary school. Tell me all about it.
Oh my gosh. Chandace, you quickly realize that you are 41 years old when you go back to school. And honestly, I tell people, because anyone that knows my life knows it's insane, but I'm like, that was probably the hardest thing that I've done. It was so hard. And I think it was so hard because it was 12 weeks. So it was 2 years of the schooling that they require, and it was put into 12 weeks. So all of the 300 hours were put into 12 weeks. And
so you were literally there morning to night.
And 2 hours of homework. Like, I took pictures throughout of myself because I'm like, I want to remember this level of exhaustion and that I can do hard things. Like, we can do hard things.
Yes, you can. Did you channel your inner Julia Child? Because I feel like, have you read her book, My Life in France?
No, I need to.
You have to read it. It's so good. Okay, it's so good. And we just watched Julie and Julia. And it just reminded me of like her going to France. And at first she was like, I might try hat making. She was bored out of her mind until she went to culinary school with all these men. And they were like, she got so competitive that she would come home and cut hundreds of onions just so she could be faster than the men.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Did you channel anything when you were there? What was your inspiration? What'd you feel?
I have to tell you, this is the first time, well, only people that are close to me know this story, but this kind of shows how hard and intense it was. And honestly, I know that a lot of people really take pride in getting that official certification and like using that name if you've really been certified. And I totally get it from doing the program. And so I feel like, so it was so hard and so intense. And I feel like I knew a lot, but I learned way more in those 12 weeks than I've ever known my whole life of cooking. Wow. And so it came time for you do the school testing, which is super intense. And then the following week is the actual ACF certification testing. So they do a written and they do a practical. So I did the written, and then the next day was the practical.
Yeah.
And I feel confident in what I knew it like was going to be on the test, because you literally have to show all your skills and be tested on them. And they don't prepare you. You kind of know what you're going to be doing, but you don't actually know. So what they do is they give you the packet of everything you're going to be doing in the practical test. And they say you have 15 minutes to look it over. And then you go into the room and you test. And it's like a 3.5 hour test of just cooking. And it's intense because you have time limits. You have to show, and we're just,
yes, like, but didn't it make you so proud, like that you were able to know all of this?
Okay, so let me tell you what happened, Janice. You're not going to be proud of me.
Okay.
So I get the packet and I'm reading it over, and all of like everyone's just like in the zone, right? I'm reading the packet over and I instantly freeze.
Oh
I
no.
freeze. Like I couldn't read the words. I couldn't compute the words.
Well, that was going
And
to be my
so,
follow-up question is how did you do all of this in like both of us turned 40 recently and I'm sorry, but my brain does not work the
oh,
same way anymore.
so let me tell you, everybody walks into the room. And guess what I do, Candace? You're gonna die.
Did you
I
cry? Did you cry?
walked out,
No.
called an Uber, and bawled the whole ride home because I was completely frozen. And I just
Oh,
bawled. And I was like, this sucks because is this just how I take tests? Like, and then I was like,
especially in our now that we're in 40s is very different than taking a test in your 20s or
and
teens.
I feel like, I don't know, having someone watch me and just the pressure,
Mhm.
I don't know if it just all came at once to where I just like completely froze.
Bye-bye.
And so the whole class was like, didn't know I was gone until halfway through because everyone, there's two rooms, everyone's in their own zone. And the class is like, where did Alyssa go? And the chef didn't want to say. And I think I left because I didn't want that to affect any of them taking their test
Yeah,
either.
that was nice.
And my friend just starts bawling. And she's like, we are like family. I became family with my class in these
Mm.
12 weeks.
Well, if you're spending that much time with them.
It's like we were in Hell's Kitchen together for
Yep.
12 weeks and then
Yeah.
I disappear. And so she gets done with it. One of my friends gets done with the test and she literally calls me in tears and she goes, you need to put on your big girl panties.
Get over here.
And she's like, and you need to figure out a way to take this test. Like, and I kept thinking that in the Uber as I was bawling. I was like,
Oh,
I made it this far.
yes,
Like,
yes.
and you think of like all the reasons why you do it.
Yeah.
And I thought of like my kids, they were like, they loved watching me do homework and do all the things and just seeing their
Yeah.
mom do something hard. And literally at
Yeah.
that moment, I was like, I'm not even going to be able to go to graduation and get my chef hat. Like, because I'm like, if I
Yeah.
cannot take
Yeah.
this test,
Yeah.
there is no way I can do the actual test next week.
Yes. The skills. Okay. Yeah. The skills test. So
So,
what did you do? Did you make it home or did you get back and did you go? Tell us how it
so
ended.
the owners of the school, which I have to say, like the school was amazing. And she reached out to me and she's like, we would literally do anything like because she's like, we've had people that will freeze during the practical test. Like, so I guess it's like a known thing, right?
Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
did
It's a lot
okay
of
with
pressure.
the written test.
Yeah.
And so she's like, why don't you come at least start with taking the written ACF test? And we're just going to take it one thing at a time. And here's a therapist to reach out to that specializes in like when you freeze, when you test.
So this clearly has happened more than once.
Yeah. And of course it happens to me. I'm like,
Oh
okay.
my gosh.
So
Okay, so how long after did you go take the test? How long was it later?
I went, took the ACF test and
Mhm.
passed that with like an 89%. I was
Of
so
course.
happy. But then I talked to the chef of the school and I was like, I do not feel good about being at the graduation unless I take the school test.
Yeah.
And he said, why don't you take the ACF test tomorrow? That's from 10 to 2. You can do the school test. We'll have someone come in like we did with the rest of the class, and you can do that from 2 to 6 or whatever.
So you were there from 10 to 6 doing these tests.
I am not kidding you, Janice. That was literally single-handedly. I was
The
like, I would
craziest
take
day.
childbirth
Childbirth?
again over
Yeah.
that.
Okay, so you could totally be on Food Network now because I've had friends who've gone on and competed on those shows. My friend Kira, who won Cupcake Wars 4 times, 4 time ever, gluten-free, by the way, which was amazing.
Wow.
And she's like, what you don't see is that we're like there for 18 hours straight into the night. Like it is crazy, you know? So you are
Yeah.
ready. Next you're ready to go on Food Network.
Oh my gosh, Candace, that's my
Go with
worst
Guy.
nightmare.
Guy
I
Fieri.
barely made it through that. And I did the ACF test and that was intense,
Mm-hmm.
but like I rice pilaf and chicken was one of the dishes. And I made that a thousand times. And for some reason, my rice just was not cooking. And I was like, and my chicken wasn't cooking. So I was starting to get so down because you're supposed to plate by a certain time. And I was 10 minutes late. And I put my rice on and it was still like too much moisture. And so I was just like, I've done this a thousand times. I don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I go and I sit down in front of the judges, which is so intimidating.
So intimidating.
And he's like, I just want to let you know you have the best chicken and pan sauce in the class. And I was like,
Amazing.
perfect. But he's
Yes.
like, but your rice. And I was like, I know. I was like, I've made that a thousand times. I know there's too much moisture. And so I asked the chef of the school, I said, could that have been an oven issue? And the chef of the school's like, nope, we calibrate all the ovens. It wasn't the ovens, basically saying, like, you must have done something wrong on your end.
Yeah.
And so I was so bummed about my rice. But then they're like, but you passed with flying colors. Like, you're going to get
Yeah.
all of your certifications.
Yay.
And then I went and did the school test and they said they wish they could have taken a picture of me at the end of the day because like my apron was untied and they're like, you looked dead.
Well, I'm sure after cooking that long. But this is so motivating because I think a lot of us, it's aspirational to go back and do something. You've already made a career for yourself,
Yes.
Alyssa. You've made it. You've made it in this food content creator career. You're one of the top food bloggers in the world. You're doing phenomenal with your ad network. All the things. Okay. So you've already done that. So to go back and put yourself in
Yeah.
day one again and put
Yeah.
yourself in a vulnerable position just so you can achieve something hard and amazing,
Mm-hmm.
that is aspirational. So I would love for you to give if someone's been thinking about culinary school, what's your words of advice to them?
Honestly, Candace, and looking back, it was like the best decision that I have done. It was the hardest and the
Yeah.
best because I think sometimes we get into our groove
Yep.
and we get into like the normal day to day of life and we don't ever like challenge ourselves again.
Yeah. We stay where we're
And
comfortable
we
as
do.
humans.
And I
Yeah.
was really comfortable not doing
Cooking
2 hours
school.
of homework a night.
Yeah.
But but yeah, I feel like sometimes we have to come back to like what is our passion?
Hmm.
And it was always culinary school was always something that I wanted to do. And
Hmm.
so I thought, why not step out of my comfort zone, out of the blogging world and do something completely different.
I love
And
that
it
you did.
and it was awesome. And then I was
And
able
it's,
to graduate.
yes, you did it. You
and
got your chef's
we
hat.
and we cooked for 60 people. So we did this 5-course meal for 60 people and I just saw my kids and my family and I served them their food, which by the way, I had to make the baguettes for the event and
Hmm.
I put them all in the oven, took them out at 20 minutes. I opened my oven that I used for the test and the bread wasn't cooked. So
Okay,
it
so it
was
was the
an
oven.
oven issue. And so I got the chef of the school and he's like, and I was like, see, like
See,
I
it was
knew
not.
it wasn't. And everyone's like, Alyssa, was that your oven? That one you have to bump up to like 25 degrees to get it to cook. And I'm like, lesson learned, at least I
trust your
passed and
gut,
graduated. Yeah.
but also
So,
trust your gut because someone's saying, no, no, no. And you're like, I know this. I know
mhm.
this. Okay.
Yes.
So, how incredible that you did that. And very encouraging to those who are looking to do something like that. Um, is it going to change the way you develop recipes for your blog moving forward?
Actually, it's so funny because I had a team meeting right before this, and the thing is I think people think like if you're a chef or you're creating meals, like it has to be intimidating, right?
Right.
And
Right.
actually, some of my favorite things that I learned were just basic skills that I've never done, or that, you can learn how to create menus. You can still develop off of easy meals. You can,
Mhm.
and just having some of the basic techniques, like I can make you the best pan-seared chicken, but it all comes down to like really like the timing, the internal temperature of your
Mhm.
chicken, like
And making it
really
again and again
basic
and again.
things.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, we really want to bring how can we relate to our audience still that, they can have growth and that they
Mm.
can sometimes also challenge themselves. And if they want to start with something easy, then try something a little bit more. And we started doing that in our website and kind of ranking our recipes from beginner to
That's
immediate,
amazing.
and just saying like,
Right.
hey, if you liked making these cinnamon rolls from I can try the 45-minute easy ones that are starting to get you to make from scratch.
That's
And
awesome.
so there were so many things that I've just been afraid to do in culinary
Yeah.
school that I'm like, you just don't, because it seems
Hmm.
intimidating because I prefer to do savory over baking. But I'm
Yeah.
like, now I just want to make my own fresh bread and like
Yeah.
pita bread and all of this because it was so easy and so good.
Yeah.
I've just been
I love
intimidated
that.
from it.
Yeah, and it is fun to push ourselves outside of what we typically like to do, you know? Um, and so knife skills is a huge thing at culinary school too. Do you feel like that
Yeah.
has upped your savory game by learning knife skills?
Oh, totally. Okay. This is another story with my test.
We're
My whole
testing
life.
knives.
So we had to learn like all of the different cuts, and it's amazing. I learned at 41 years old to properly cut an onion. Like it
Yeah.
took me 41 years.
And now you do.
Um, and now you just learn the basic cuts, like the julienne, the fine
Mhm.
julienne, the
Mhm.
Bernois cuts, and all of this. And so um, that was also another. We had to create a salad on the
Mhm.
ACF test, and they said, "Alyssa, sorry, we had to dock you a point because we asked for a fine or a julienne, and you did a fine julienne." And I said, and they told us also to read the packets like 10 times because you have to
Yeah.
watch for those words. Like
Yeah.
the testing is so intense, Janice. And so I said to him, I said, are you sure? Because I'm like, I read the packet 10 times. And they're like, yes, that's what it said. And I said, can you go and get the packet and just double check for me just to see? And they
Was
went
it
and got
just
the packet.
julienne?
It was a fine julienne. So I was right. So they're like, oh, now we need to deduct the rest of the class.
You're like,
And
sorry,
you did it the
everyone.
right way.
Okay, so between the
So,
oven, you were right. The julienne, the right cut,
yes.
you were
So,
right. So again, going back to trusting your instinct,
mhm.
trusting your gut, and not being afraid to stand up and say, "Can you actually go check?"
Totally. Like that was
I love
hard to
that.
even say that. Like to when they're
Yeah,
telling me, nope, that we're
when they're
right.
the leaders.
And
But
I'm
what I
like,
hear is that you also gained confidence. I mean, you're a pretty confident
yeah.
person, but I hear that you gained confidence in culinary school as well.
Oh, totally. I gained so much more confidence just
Hmm.
in cooking and just being around other people and just having to
Yeah.
tell the chef or question like, "What are
Yeah.
you sure?"
Yes. No, I love that.
So,
So going
yeah.
back to some of your recipes that, we asked if there's any way that you're like, if you're thinking of how you're developing and moving forward. Are there some now that you want to go back on the website and update and be like, actually, I now know what I know and I want to update X, Y, and Z?
So that's like another thing because I'm like, oh, I would have totally done that recipe a different way, or I would
Right,
have changed the steps, or I would have explained it in another way. And another
right.
thing that we learned too is, every recipe that we're starting with, we use olive oil. And you're really not supposed to because it has a high smoke point.
Right,
And it's like,
right.
I have never really known that like my whole
Mm-hmm.
life. And so,
Mm-hmm.
um,
I'm a
now
coconut
is
oil and a bacon grease girl
the red. So yeah, now I use
and butter.
clarified butter. We made our
Yep.
own clarified butter. It's so
It's
easy to
amazing.
do. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's probably what I'm going to show everyone. Like, just make your own clarified butter. So,
Yeah. Which is
um,
basically ghee, right?
yeah, that's
It's
what it
amazing.
is. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Well, and I
yeah,
think all of these things are good for us to try. I think people are very, very scared of fat. And we talk about that a lot, those who
yeah.
know that fat is a carrier for good or bad in your body. So it is very important to start from good fat,
Mm-hmm.
right? But
Mm-hmm.
we've always, my family, we've always used bacon grease and we use good quality, like
Mm-hmm.
really good bacon, and we save it. Like my mom brings me jars of bacon grease like
Oh
grandma
my
used to have,
gosh,
but
that's
it's from
awesome.
really good Beeler's bacon. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or like organic
Mm-hmm.
bacon. And that's how we cook our home fries and our eggs and everything. But to people, they'd be like, "Oh, you cooking bacon grease?" And I'm like, "Yeah, and our cholesterol's fine." And it's great.
Totally.
And but it's starting from a really good place. So same with the clarified butter,
Yes.
ghee. People are finally catching on that ghee is a good thing, you know?
Yeah.
So
We
I love that you
actually
learned that.
learned all about that and that was also fun in culinary school is you
Hmm.
learn not just techniques but the history,
Yeah.
all of the science behind it,
Hmm.
like all of the famous chefs that kind of got us to this point today and
Yeah.
where it originated. But I mean, he talked about the time of when people were saying don't use eggs, cholesterol's bad, like, and just all these things that
Mm.
they're finding out that yeah, you can use ghee, you can use high quality bacon fat. Like,
Yep. Yeah. It's amazing, isn't it? And it
yeah.
really opens, I don't know about you, but it's freeing to be like,
Hmm.
this is how my grandma cooked. This is how my mom cooked. I'm going to keep doing this. And it
Yeah,
feels great, you know? And I still do love a really good cold pressed olive oil on my salads and things like that. But if you're
totally.
cooking at a high smoke, yes, you should be using something different. So I love
Yes.
that you learned that. I love that
Yes.
that was knowledge that you gained. Okay, so speaking
Oh,
of
thank you.
the amazing chefs who got us to where we are as a community, have you listened, because you need to listen to it, listen to Ina's new memoir?
Oh my gosh. No. See, now I have time, Candace.
Yes,
So
now
I'm
you
like,
have time. You're not doing
I
2 hours of
need you
homework.
to send me
Okay,
all
I will
these
send them.
things.
Ina's
So,
memoir. So I listened first because I knew I'd want to hear her beautiful voice. I'd want to hear it. I love Ina. So I grew up watching Martha Stewart with my mom, and we would always joke. So you know how her thing is, it's a good thing. So my mom and I would be in the kitchen and we'd accidentally drop something. We'd say, it's a
it's
good
a good
thing that
thing.
nobody knows. And that was kind of our joke, my mom and I's. And so we thought it would be anyway. So we loved Martha. And then when Ina came about, we would, I can hear Barefoot Contessa in my head because we'd watch Ina as well. And I love her story. Both her and Julia Child started in Washington, D.C., working for the government. What? These are
Wow.
very smart, intelligent women
Mm-hmm.
who were bored out of their minds,
Mm-hmm.
basically. They're like, I don't want to
Yeah.
write policy anymore. And
Yeah.
Ina's book is, Be Ready When the Luck Happens. And it seems like that is exactly what you have done. So tell us a little bit about
Wow.
your Be Ready When the Luck Happens, but you created that luck just like Ina did. Your blog, just give us a brief synopsis of what you started with and where it is today.
So, I mean, let me take you back to a time that was
Let's
really
go back.
amazing when Facebook and Pinterest didn't have algorithms and
Hmm.
they showed your content. Like,
Wasn't that an amazing time?
yes.
And everything wasn't already pre-bought, all those
No,
slots. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So I feel like when I started, because what year did you start, Chandis? Like getting
I
into
started
the,
my blog 18 years ago when it was
okay,
.blogspot.com because I'd gotten
yes.
diagnosed with celiac disease, and and it was .blogspot.com. There was Facebook, but only for your friends.
Hmm.
No business Facebook, no
No.
Instagram, nothing. And if
Hmm.
like Susan from Wisconsin commented on your recipe, you were like, oh my gosh,
Oh, it just made your life.
Yeah.
I remember
Yes.
like you on Pinterest when you got 12 repins, that was a viral. Like,
Yes, and we got invited to Pinterest by your other friends. Remember, you got the invitation
yes,
to be on
yes.
Pinterest.
Oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh.
Yeah.
But I feel like when we started, a lot of us in that same kind of time frame, it was because we were passionate and we could really just put out whatever we wanted.
Yeah.
Like when I go and update my 2012 posts and I'm talking about my son
Yeah.
starting school that day and,
Yeah.
and saying that I was big and pregnant or whatever, like that's how it used to be. We could
Yeah.
really
Storytelling.
just we didn't have to worry about SEO or we didn't have to worry about anything. We just posted what we liked and what we were passionate about.
Which I
And
think we're
so
coming full circle. We're
we
moving
are
into
a
a
100%.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear you validate that because I feel like Abby says this all the time, the future is analog. We are moving back, and obviously we're online, of course, but we're moving back to that place of sharing again and sharing what we love.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I was totally going to say, like, there was a time because back then, too, we did a lot of conferences, and that's why I love tastemakers. And I'm so
Yay.
passionate about tastemakers because it's what it used to be. We were a
Mhm.
community. We only grew because of each other.
Yeah.
And then the industry shifted to kind of SEO and people started to become like more recluse.
And don't you
And
think that was the start of competition?
yes, and I
Uh-huh. Okay.
hate that time.
Yeah.
And people
Yeah.
were thinking if you've made lasagna and I've made lasagna, like
You're
people were
taking my recipe.
they were very, you know,
Upset that
protective
you're going
of
after that
keywords.
too. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
was so the blogging community kind of got hard for a while there. And then I feel like it started to shift again to where we could say, you know what, like we can just do and create how we want. And then tastemakers came in and
Yay.
I went to my first tastemakers and I'm like, it's back. Like the community, the everything is back. And so I feel
Mhm.
like even though this time is kind of unknown, right? Like
Mhm.
there's a lot
Yeah.
of unknowns.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a lot of pivoting and rebuilding right now
Mhm. Mhm.
and learning what we need to do. But it's like that all kind of right now is out of our control.
Right.
Like it really is.
And you've been through this. And so, as a seasoned creator, would you say that we're going to come out on the other side okay? And what is going to dictate those who come out on the other side okay?
So I think it really is people and connecting with your users and what people love about you. That
Yeah.
is what we have now, like I mean, during the SEO time, our production would just be we're going to just make all these keywords and then you just rank for them. Like it was just a
Right.
magical weird time. And so
Yeah.
now it's like,
You have
okay,
to
now
create
we're
that
really in
community.
touch with our users. And we
Yeah.
are, because I always said, if I ever have to be on video or do camera or do videos, I would just let the blog die, right? But no, that's what
You
people are
haven't.
craving.
And
And
you're
so I
thriving.
knew I had to pivot towards that because I think now, more importantly than ever, that human connection is so important and still connecting with your users and showing your face to them, showing them that you are human and normal, just
It
like
absolutely
them.
is, especially in this AI world,
Yeah.
So being someone who said, I would let it die. What is your
Yeah.
advice to someone who's on the other end listening to this saying, yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't want to do that. That's scary and I don't want to do that. What's your advice?
Okay. So I honestly think like, because even when I did Good Morning America, I
Yeah.
just, those moments in your life, you're just like, I want to die. And especially an
Yes.
introvert like me.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like those are the moments when you have to say yes. And
Right.
you just have to tell and I kept telling myself, like, you can do this, like you're confident, like you can do, I always say you can do hard things, like, and in order to make yourself have that growth, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable
Mhm.
situations. And guess what? It gets better. I started
Yeah.
doing video, it was cringy, but then I started noticing too, like, I didn't notice other people's, like, if they were on video, the
Mhm.
things that I would notice about myself and be so hard
Right.
on. And so I'm like,
Right.
nobody really cares. They just want to
No.
see you. And
Right.
so I just you just got to start doing it and it gets
One
easier.
foot in front of the other.
Yes. Like you have to say, okay, I'm going to do, and that's what I did. I'm like, I'm going to do one story a week to at
Mhm.
least
What story week? I love it.
get out there. And now it's like a full on, people want to see that
Yeah.
human connection. And I think it's honestly more important than ever
And
to
I
have that.
It is, and I think a lot of creators are finding that sharing their mishaps, sharing their failures is taking them further as well. For every blog post that I update, I put my old post, the old photo at the very bottom, and I say, here's the original photo. It is horrible,
Yeah.
horrendous. And some of them have two or three because I've updated them numerous times. And they
Yes.
think it's great to like see how far even that has come. And listen,
Mm-hmm.
at this point, I don't do my own photography.
Yeah.
But I wanted to show when this is what it looked like. So this is
Uh-huh.
why we hire somebody
And this
else,
is
you
why
know?
I hired.
Yeah, do what you're good at. Which, speaking of
Yeah.
that, photography is your
Mm-hmm.
favorite part of the business. You love taking the photography. Yeah? Do you still
That
love
is
it?
still what I do. But see, for 12 weeks, my team took over.
Yeah. And did they survive? Because I know
And
you
they
were like
survived
worried.
and they did such a great job.
I love it.
So, but then that also gave me the opportunity to realize, what can I do in my
Delegate.
business that I'm still passionate about? And because I missed, as hard as I feel like, I mean, my son always tells me that our jobs are so easy. Mom, you're just a blogger. Like,
Oh,
your jobs are
no.
easy.
No.
I think we actually have probably
Absolutely.
one of the hardest jobs. And I was even trying to explain to him at dinner last night. And I'm like, what do I have to do, like, to get,
To
because
convince you.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I, as a 40-year-old, have had to learn marketing and
Yeah.
trends and just trying to get
Mhm.
things to do well on social. And there's a whole smart and business behind it that, I mean,
Well,
you
you're doing
just,
multiple people's jobs because you're going from the computer to posting, writing, have to be an expert writer.
mhm,
And now we used to have lots of writers for us, but unless they know your recipe inside and out like you do, they can't give that experience.
no,
So we have to be an expert writer,
yeah,
have a great photographer or be a good photographer,
mm-hmm,
be an amazing person in the kitchen that's recipe testing again and again and be able to communicate what you've learned in the kitchen to your
yes,
audience. But then you have to show up on social as well and in
totally,
email and on all these and you're like, that's like multiple different jobs
yeah.
that one person is doing and maybe with the help of a team. But I don't know about you, but when I lay down at night to sleep, I think I'll fall right to sleep and there's about 70 thoughts going through my head,
Yeah.
you know?
Like you're so exhausted, but then your mind's
Hmm.
just racing. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's just so important for us to remember, like, how much we are doing and how important it is.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I love that.
And if people could only see our behind the scenes that
Behind the
complain about
scenes.
our ads, right?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. I
So,
I agree entirely. And so I want to know what's one, before we get to the rapid fire, because I love that section of the
yeah.
podcast. It's so fun. What is one risk that you've taken in your business that didn't necessarily have a huge ROI, but you learned a lot and you had that time for growth mindset?
That comes back down to, like, Instagram. I get probably $0 from it, but is it really $0? Because
It's awareness.
yes, like, we have to
Mm-hmm.
remember sometimes these things you won't see like actual traffic or money coming from it, but there are things that you have to do to stay relevant and to connect with
Yeah.
your users. And in the end, probably Instagram has created more
Mm-hmm.
loyal readers and has created more direct traffic to my site. And so I think there are a lot of things that we do in our business that necessarily you have to just take that risk or
Right.
test it out
Mm-hmm.
and measure, that may not be, an ROI as far as money, but it can be,
Community. Mm-hmm.
community and
Yeah.
other things. Like we always talk, what is the purpose of
Mm-hmm.
what we're doing? And
Yeah.
sometimes it comes down to, you know what? I just want to connect with my readers.
Yeah. And that's a great
So,
place to do that. Well, and one thing I will say, I was so excited to tell you because 2, 3 years ago when we went to Memphis for St. Jude,
mhm.
we sat down and you were so generous. And I'm not going to cry, but you were so generous with your time. Both you and Molly sat down. We had a group of like 5 of us, and you sat in that hotel room and helped all of us update things and do things and helped us. And Molly helped us with email. It was so
Yeah.
amazing. And I remember you telling me there was one blog post that I had a really great shot of because I don't have any huge keywords, being mostly in the gluten-free space. And you were like, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to update. And you had that same post on your website, by the way, not the
Yeah.
same recipe, but a same keyword that you were going
Similar.
for.
Yeah.
Yep. And you even said to me, you tell me when you update it and I'll backlink it. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh. So, anyways,
Yeah.
I'm in the #1 spot for that now,
Oh
by the
my
way.
gosh,
And
Candace!
I know. And you know what?
That's
The good news
amazing.
about that is #1 thing I learned, there is enough to go around. The
Mhm.
abundance mentality, you have embodied that, Alyssa. Like you
Mhm.
have given so much to other creators. At Tastemaker, when you and Holly spoke, you left all your cards on the table.
Yeah.
And we heard that. People loved that you laid it all out about how you guys achieved your success. And you were willing to talk and give anything to anybody who
Mhm.
asked for it. #2, um, you also, you left or generous with all of that, but you also just have a growth mindset that you're willing to
Mhm.
see others succeed and you don't need to hold on to everything yourself. So,
Mhm.
those are two things that I will say that I think also when you change that mindset, you have success. It does come back to you in a way as well, because then, yeah, you just have a whole community of people who love you.
Totally. And I always get people that will say that. They'll be like, well, you didn't charge someone for that, or you didn't for your time or your
Yeah.
help. And I'm like, no, that is why we become successful. Like
Yeah.
just helping each other out and really having that community because it will come back tenfold, like
Yeah.
back to you. And I like seeing other people succeed. I really
Yes.
do.
And I know that when you say that, you actually mean it.
I
I
do.
know that from firsthand experience.
Yes.
I love it. So,
So,
we are so grateful that you came on today. You are incredible. I want to ask you some rapid fire questions so people can get to know you a little bit more on that
okay.
personal level. So, the
Perfect.
first one is going to be, what is the best piece of business advice that you ever received? Or
That I
best
ever
advice,
received.
just advice in general that you've ever received?
Um, Honestly, I met someone at a conference and they told me your connection with people
Yeah.
will get you so far in the business world.
Well, boy, did
And
you take that advice and run with it. Because
because I
you've created
remember
connections everywhere you go.
they told me they were like, this isn't rapid fire. This is I'm
No,
like
it's great. I don't care.
inspired.
It's great.
But no, so really quick, they were like so nervous to meet me and they thought I was probably so intimidating, right? And they said, that's one of the things that always stuck with me is they said the best thing is that you were more connected with us and like wanted to, and that's the best business practice I think I've ever used is that, you know what, just our connection with people and just really trying to care and want others to succeed.
I love that. And I think that is what's going to get people through the next 5 to 10 years. This is not a dying
Absolutely.
field. It's just going to take that
No,
pivot and the
it's
connection to your
rebuilding
community.
for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely. What is your go-to snack at any given moment? Like the thing that you always reach for?
This is such like a embarrassing thing. But my friends for my birthday, they gave me a fruit roll up and fruit by the foot, like flower tree.
I
It's
love
like
it.
I am fully accepting I'm like probably gonna die from red dye 40. And I don't know if it's some like nostalgia thing, but
Yeah.
like I will go for a fruit roll up or a fruit by the
Yes,
foot. It's
that
so
is
weird.
you.
It is
I
so
love it. It
weird.
actually reminds me of you because when we were in St. Jude, you ordered a bunch of snacks and there was like a giant box of fruit roll-ups. Yeah?
Yes, there was.
I love it. I love it. My friends always say you either are like a frat boy, like eat like a frat boy with like the
Yeah.
junky, like I love the really crappy like spicy chicharrones, like the
Yeah.
really junky ones with
Yeah.
MSG and everything. Um gluten free, but and
Yeah.
then or it's like the healthy pan-seared chicken over pilaf, one
Totally.
or the other. And that's okay.
That's
That's balance.
exactly how I am.
And it's balance. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us,
Yes,
Alyssa.
I love
I've
you,
been so excited. I
Candace.
love you, and I'm so
Oh,
grateful for you in our community. As just a friend of mine, we've had so many fun memories together. We have
we
so
have
many,
so many.
and we'll have to save those for another episode. But we've
That's gonna be Candace and Alyssa after dark.
yeah, yeah, let's do that
Like some of our
episode. Yeah.
stories are so great.
So, but yes, because we
Yes.
ended up staying up talking all night in Memphis, and you literally left in the same outfit you came in out that door at 6 a.m. to catch your flight. And we joked, it's like the food
Yes.
bloggers
Rolled
walk of
my
shame.
yes.
And
That night
that's when
was the
you
best.
find your people, which is going back to the
Totally.
connection. It's so important in this
Mhm.
community to find your people, create those
And
groups of
Candace, I
people.
don't think we would have ever gotten to know each other if it wasn't through tastemakers. Like some of my
No.
best friendships are from going to the tastemaker conference. That is why I love
Aw.
it so much. So,
That literally gives me chills. I'm not even kidding. And that is our
yes.
greatest compliment is when people tell us the feeling there is something different and that they've made lifelong friends. And we've felt that. And so when others say it, it just brings us so much joy. So thank
Yes.
you for saying that. Thank you for
Awesome.
joining us. Where can everyone find you?
Anywhere. Like if they they can
Everything
just
is
find
just the
me
Recipe
on
Critic.
therecipecritic.com. Yep. So Instagram
Perfect.
everywhere so they can find
I
me.
love it.
So,
Amazing.
yay.
Well, thank you for inspiring us today. And for those of you here, we'd love to have you tune in next time. And until then, we'll see you later. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Tastemaker Talk. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know by leaving a review, giving us a rating, or sharing it with your creator friends.
And of course, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.
You can find more from us on our website, tastemakerconference.com, or even join us for an event where we learn and grow as a community of creatives.
The conversation doesn't stop here. Talk soon.